right, we're gonna go over stroke protocol. This is to determine if somebody might be having a stroke, not so much curing or taking care of a stroke, but just to make sure if try to check to see if somebody's having a stroke. So what you want to think of if you think somebody might be having a stroke, you think of the word FAST. You got to think fast. FAST stands for face, arms, speech, and time. So you're going to ask the person to smile. Okay, you're going to check their face, check for facial drooping. Now, just because somebody has some facial drooping doesn't mean necessarily they're having a stroke. They could have Bell's palsy, which is just paralysis of the facial nerve. But it is one of the symptoms of paralysis of the face is one of the symptoms of stroke. So you want to go through the rest of the test. And when in doubt, still activate 911 or get that person to the hospital no matter what, because you still have to get treated. The next thing would be arms. So you tell them to lift their arms up, and if one arm droops down, and they're having trouble keeping that arm up, that could be another sign of the stroke. So you can also have them hold it up and say to both sides feel the same. But typically you're looking for that droop on one side. The next part of that is speech. It's the S in FAST. It's for speech. Ask the person to repeat a simple sentence or something that they should know, like, where are you? You know, like, oh, I'm at the hospital, or I'm at home. What's today's date? Today's April 14th. You can ask them what their name is. If they tell you their name and it's not their name, it could be a sign of a stroke. Or if what they say is unrecognizable, you're not able to recognize what they're saying, it could be a definite sign of a stroke. Or they slur their speech. And then the last step, time. Time is the most critical step. You go through these other steps real quick and you think this person might be having a stroke. Time is not your friend. Time can be a killer. First off, I want to write down the time that all this happened. So Thursday, 3 p.m., boom. Because chances are good by the time you get them to the hospital, symptoms, if it's just a TIA, a transient ischemic stroke, symptoms are probably going to resolve pretty quickly. Doctor's still going to have to do tests and everything else. This actually happened to me a couple weeks ago. We were in Disney, and my first sign that I noticed wasn't even the drooping and all of that. It was a difference, double vision. I had vision top over bottom. Y'all probably seen the last couple of videos where I was wearing a patch. Not a fashion statement. It was wasn't trying to dress like a pirate. I have double vision, and right now I'm actually wearing a prism on my glasses because that's the only symptom that didn't go away. By the time my wife got me to the hospital, they activated stroke protocol, told me to smile. I did have a little bit of drooping on the left side, and my left arm would droop down, and my right leg kind of drooped down. So they test your legs, your arms, everything. And my speech was a little off.
You're searching for words.
And I was searching for words. But, all of that went away really quick, but the double vision lasted. So hopefully that goes away. But like I said, it could happen to anybody. Time is not your friend. You got to get these people to the hospital. A good friend of mine actually died last year of a stroke, just dropped dead of a stroke. So it could be a very severe stroke, like a hemorrhagic stroke, but you never know what type of stroke. TIA, transient ischemic stroke, or attack, which is kind of like a mini stroke, just a temporary blockage of blood to the brain. Ischemic stroke is a permanent blockage, like a big clot that's going to block blood flow to the brain. And hemorrhagic is where it's going to burst a blood vessel in the brain, and then you got a blood leak, and so all that blood loss in turn causes oxygen loss, causes death. Time, again, most critical. Write down the time it happens, get them to the ER, call 911, do something quick. When you
Time is tissue.
huh?
Time is tissue.
Oh, Time is tissue, okay.
Damage.
Tissue damage.
Mhm.
My wife's a nurse. Let's see, gather pertinent, you also want to gather pertinent information from them while you're waiting on emergency response or on the way to the hospital. You want to know what, or from their family members, you want to know what medication they're on, existing conditions like high blood pressure, again, right down the time that the symptoms started. You want to give all that to emergency responders or to the doctor because doctor's going to want to put them on Plavix for blood thinner, but or some kind of a blood thinner, but some of those may be contraindicated by other medications that person's taken. Contraindicated means that they don't work well together; they work against each other. So the doctor needs to know all that, as much information as they can get to know how to treat that person properly. Your approach is going to ensure a swift response and help reduce the risk of permanent damage and death, in certain cases. So, stroke, again, think fast.